Let's go. Let's go, 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 go. We're going live. We're going to you go back here. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We gotta put the thumbnail. Good afternoon, folks. This is the professor, and it is a beautiful Saturday, sunny afternoon in the great city of Seattle. The professor welcomes you to this new podcast, to this new episode. What is going on in the crypto Ponzi scheme world? Well, guys, there are a lot of things going on, and of course, this channel is here to provide you with information you certainly can use. Now, you will recall that there is a gentleman by the name of Edward Zimbardi. He was a principal in a company called Crypto Program. And Edward Zimbardi was arrested. Apparently, he has a criminal record. He was convicted of a previous crime. He was arrested in the Netherlands, and there is at least one report that says that he was interrogated by the Dutch police and released. That is not correct. Ed Zimbardi is still in custody, and he is to be extradited to the United States. So there are a lot of people who have interest in lying and misleading people as to what's going on in the crypto world, because as I said before, guys, and I'm telling you, the crypto world is like the organized mafia. It is the same people who are working together, supporting each other, in the hope of defrauding you. So this channel is dedicated to uncover these people and talk about them, and certainly inform you as to whom to stay away from. So today we have a great show for you. As you know, tomorrow, Sunday, March 10, at 5 p.m. Eastern, we're going to have attorney Will Morris. In this show, who is leading the class action lawsuit against Novatech and some of the other co-defendants in that case. So you don't want to miss the show. You want to be part of the show. You want to hear what the attorney has to say. You want to know about a little bit about his investigation, the process, the lawsuit, who's going to be able to recover, if anything. You're going to hear all that. But before I talk to you a little bit about some of the news you need to know about, because one thing I'm going to tell you guys, there are people on YouTube who actually are trying to sell you a dream, okay? And they know that you want to buy that dream because everybody wants to be rich, everybody wants to make money, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not knocking that at all. I think you should be able to take advantage of every opportunity. But those opportunities should be clear, concise, upfront, not misleading. And these people have a history of doing that. And right now, there is a company called NFT Rewards, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. But before I tell you about it, I just want to let you listen a little bit to Mr. Morris, whom we're going to interview tomorrow.
About the American dreams. And we know that the American dream includes home ownership. And
the white picket fence and the whole that. Okay.
Exactly. You've seen how, certain certain communities, minorities, have been taken advantage of, either getting a loan or trying to get a house. What's your opinion? What's your views?
Well, you know, I think the common mistake a lot of people make is getting involved in the most important transactions of their lifetime. Most people buying a house, right? They go in, they get a realtor, they sign papers without a lawyer. You know, I always tell people, if I can help it, I won't cross the street without a lawyer. You know, it's ridiculous. I mean, this is your largest investment of your life, and you don't have a lawyer. And then when things go south, as they generally sometimes do, like for example, how many people remember when the foreclosure crisis? A lot of people ran out, and it was a big thing. Oh yeah, you can get a house in Florida for $10,000, right? Yeah, you can. But that's just being off the homeowners association. There's still a mortgage in back of that for $400,000 or $500,000. And so many people ran in and bought these houses without doing their due diligence. And they go, you know the law, buyer beware, right? You know, they didn't do their due diligence. The next thing you know, they get foreclosure papers from the bank, and they go, oh my God, I thought I bought this house for $10,000. Yeah, that was the association. There's also a mortgage back there. Chances are the association is not being paid. The mortgage is not being paid as well. And you've got to have somebody to help you navigate that and give you some advice. Because quite frankly, if somebody came to me and said they were getting a house for $20,000, they were like, you're not getting a house for $20,000. It's not going to happen. It's not happening out of this country, right? So anyway, yeah, so it's important. Look, it's a big old American dream, the white picket fence and the whole nine. Home ownership, it's a big deal. I'm not so sure it's an accurate deal, but it is a big deal in America. So you know, like in every big decision you make, it's best to have somebody who knows and understands the ins and outs of the laws, who knows how to protect your rights, who knows what banking situations are, what mortgage situations are, and to advise you from the get-go, from the minute you start thinking about buying a house. You should have counsel in there and guiding you through the process so you don't fall prey to the association selling your house for $20,000 and you're thinking, I got a free house. So yeah, it is important, like any other aspect of your life, not just in real estate. In any aspect of your life, there are decisions that has any sort of implications in the legal system. I think it's important for somebody at the very least, consult with a lawyer. Ask a lawyer a question. You know, I mean, you might not have pay a dime for it. Ask a question. Don't just go willy-nilly at it and think you know it. I mean, there are certain areas of practice that I don't know anything about. I don't go willy-nilly about it, and I've been practicing law for 30-odd years. I call somebody who knows. Look, what do you think of this? And while you might have a general idea, a guy who's been doing it for 20, 30 years, he knows the inside outs and the ups and downs, he knows the pitfalls, and he can advise you properly. So yeah, my advice is, like with any big decision, particularly one, which is the biggest financial decision most Americans are going to make, buying a house, you should consult a lawyer.
Well, guys, you heard it. Absolutely. You should never do a big deal without consulting a lawyer. So tomorrow,
Exactly. You've seen
tomorrow,
you
Mr.
minorities.
Morris will be with us, and he's going to talk a little bit about the lawsuit against Novatech.
Well, I think
as you
the
know,
common
case
mistake a
Mullen
lot of
versus
people make
Novatech
is getting involved in the most important transactions of their lifetime. Most people buying a house, right? They go in, they get a realtor, they sign papers without a lawyer. You know, I always tell people, if I can help it, I won't cross the street without a lawyer. You know, it's ridiculous. I mean, this is your largest investment of your life, and you don't have a lawyer. And then when things go south, as they generally sometimes do, like for example, how many people remember when the foreclosure crisis? A lot of people ran out.
I think the video is being played again.
Oh yeah, you can get a house in Florida for $10,000.
Well, guys, you heard it. Attorney Morris said he wouldn't cross the street if he could help it without a lawyer. So certainly, before you guys give your money to these Ponzi schemers, you want to be able to figure out what this company is about. Anyway, let's go back to the picture of Edward Zambati. We have Mr. Zambati. Now, we're going to talk about a number of people. And the reason we're talking about these people is not because we want to make them more famous than they already are, but those are people of interest because of the thing that they've done, good or bad. Now, this picture you're looking at is Edward Zambati. Edward Zambati is a U.S. citizen who who live in between Dubai and Georgia. And he was one of the three principals in a company called Crypto Program. In fact, I had a meeting with about 20 different, 20 people, a group of 20 people from Nigeria who lost close, believe it or not, close to $10 million with this crypto program Ponzi scheme. So the FTC has been investigating crypto program for a while now, and Edward Zambati was arrested in the Netherlands by Dutch police. So there is one YouTuber who claimed that he was interrogated and released. Edward Zambati was not released, he's still in police custody, awaiting extradition to the United States. So the crypto world, guys, is probably, I've never seen this before, and there are a lot of opportunities for fraud, for people to try to con you out of your hard-earned money. And this show is dedicated to finding these Ponzi schemers and let you know, bring the information to you and challenge them. And we're going to invite those people who actually have these platforms that they are promising you great return in your money. They are telling you that if you don't have cryptos, well, for some reason you're not going to be able to make it. And again, when I say this, I am not knocking crypto. I'm not saying that investing in crypto is a bad thing, okay? There is risk in any investment you make. There are risks. I mean, there's no way around it, okay? You can win, you could lose. But because the crypto space is such a kind of an open space, there are almost no regulations at all. So anybody can come. There's nothing that could prevent me from coming back tomorrow here and say, hey, I'm launching a platform, bring me your money, I'm going to buy crypto, and I'm going to make you rich. So you have to be very careful, because when something sounds too good to be true, it is too good to be true. Now, doing my research, and I've been doing research for the last 2 years on these Ponzi schemers, I have noticed a trend. And the trend that I've noticed is that we have people going from one Ponzi scheme to another Ponzi scheme. I'll give you an example. Edward Zambati, the crypto program was not his first Ponzi scheme. He had a previous conviction for another Ponzi scheme. This was his second Ponzi scheme, and I'm sure that unless he goes to prison for the rest of his life, there's going to be a third Ponzi scheme. But if you look at Edward Zambati, you look at Cynthia Petion, Eddie Petion, Dunbar Dapiloni, whom I'm going to talk about in a minute, and Corey Sampson, and all of these people, somewhere along the line, they have crossed paths, and they have worked together in one platform or another. When that platform fails, they move to a second platform. Case in point, Cynthia Petion started with AWS. That was back in 2015. AWS basically collapsed. She made a lot of money. A couple of months later, she started Novatech. That is not the way to do business. That is not the way investment works. Okay? So when they're telling you that, oh, crypto is a commodities, you don't need a license to sell crypto, that is absolute nonsense, okay? That's not true at all. If you want to invest in crypto by yourself, you want to go buy it, trade it, sell it yourself, no problem. You can do that all day or night. But if I'm coming to you and I'm asking you to give me your hard-earned money and let me make the decision for you, whether I'm buying crypto, whether I'm buying, whatever, okay, or other commodities, rice, I don't know, guess what? I'm going to have a license, because now it's not really what I'm investing your money in. It's really me taking your money and having control of it and trying to invest it and give you something back. So, in terms of what I call serial Ponzi schemers, are those people who actually go from one company to another. Ed Zambadi is one of them from the crypto program. Cynthia Patron is one, and I'm sure there are tons of them. Now, let's bring a picture of Dunbar Dapiluni. Now, this guy is just this. I don't know what to say about this guy, but I have listened to this guy, and I've listened to some of his interviews. First of all, this guy is being investigated now by the Federal Trade Commission, and he was, by all accounts, the last person back in 2023 to have seen Cynthia Patron in Dubai. And I think I have pictures. I think I have a picture of him. We have downloaded a picture of Zem. We're trying to find his picture. We want to show you what this guy is, and this guy is of interest, guy, because it's amazing what's going on out there, and you have to know the information. That's the only way you're gonna be able to protect yourself, by knowing what's going on. And this is what the professor does. The professor does the work for you, so you don't have to do it for yourself. So I'm going to show you a picture of this guy and what he's up to now. And certainly this is not his first or second rodeo, this is his third. And we're going to watch this company very closely. We're going to talk to the people behind the company and ask them certainly to come to an interview with the professor, because part of what's important, anytime someone is talking about taking your money, and they're not being transparent, they can even explain to you what this is about, they can even show you how your money is being invested, you really, really, really have to be very, very, very careful. So in this show, I'm very proud of trying to bring that information to you, trying to help you understand how to navigate, because I understand that, when somebody comes to you and they tell you, oh, look at all this big Mercedes that I just bought, look at how well I'm doing. And in your mind, you are saying, oh my God, yeah, you're making a lot of money. How could I make so much money? And it is very easy to just hand over your money to them, because you're thinking that, hey, I'm going to do as well as this person did. And the fact of the matter is, it's always the top people, and when we're talking about, the type of Ponzi scheme, it's usually the top people who makes money. The people in the bottom usually end up losing millions of dollars. We're gonna bring the picture of this guy. His name is Dunbar Dapiluni. Now, Dapilunu. It's kind of interesting name. Now, Mr. Dunbar, just waiting to get his picture on the screen. He's a very interesting character, because like Cynthia Patron, he speaks a lot about integrity, honesty, openness. He speaks about God. Sometimes he's a man of God. Of course, a lot of scammers that I know are men of God. So this guy was an advisor to Cynthia and A.D. Patron. And he was a principal in Novatech. Now, there are reports that suggest that he was the last person to have seen Cynthia and Eddie Patron in their penthouse in Dubai. So certainly the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, they started this investigation, almost a year ago. I think it was back in July of last year, be a year very soon, into Novatech, because this guy was so close to Cynthia Patron. Normally the investigation started with the lower part and then they worked their way up. So they started with him and also this lady called Corey Sampson. Can we put a picture of Mr. Sampson, please? Now, these two people, for the better part of the last year and a half before Cynthia Payton walk away with $50 billion of your money. These two people were promoting Novatech as this was the best things ever. They were going, they were on YouTube, on Zoom meeting, promoting Novatech and basically trying to convince people to invest. And my God, did people invest? A lot of people invested billions of dollars. But guess what happened? These people are responsible. Now, let's talk about Dunbar. The interesting thing is, Dunbar, obviously now, Novatech's collapsed. Perhaps he made a lot of money, perhaps he didn't, but I doubt that he didn't. I'm sure he made a lot of money. So he's now promoting something called NFT, because there's video on YouTube where he's talking to the guy who's the head of NFT and promoting it as a platform for, and this is what they say, okay, features contract, okay? Now, I don't know if the guy who was talking about being the CEO of NFT really understand what features contract is about. Okay, it's a form of investment, very risky, but that's what they're selling. Now, I'm not saying that NFT is a Ponzi scheme. I'm not saying that NFT is a fraud. I haven't gotten there yet, but I'm going to investigate NFT. I'm going to try to get in contact with the guy who's running it and invite him to sit down and show me what he's doing. Because I think because the government is not going to be able to protect you guys. Once somebody take your money and they're gone, it's going to be fighting. You're going to have to fight very, very hard to get some of that money back. You're never going to get all of your money back. I don't care how much money you invest, you're simply not going to get everything back. It's just the way it works. You never get it back. If you get it, it will be a portion of what you invested. So my job, as I see it, is to go after these people, is to find the information, to find out the information for you and give it to you so you don't have to look for it yourself. So we're going to look at NFT, and quite frankly, why I'm interested in NFT is because Dunbar, whom I believe to have some culpability with regard to Novatech, is again promoting a company that is somewhat suspect. I'm not saying criminal, I'm not saying fraudulent, I'm saying suspect, okay? So, keep watching the show. Certainly, if you have not subscribed to the professor, please do so. Because tomorrow at this time, it's about 5 o'clock now in the West Coast, I'm going to have a sit down with Attorney Will Morris, and we're going to chop it up, talk a little bit about the case. If you are a subscriber of the professor, you will definitely see this special interview. If you are not, you're not going to see it, guys. So I'm sorry if you haven't. If you're watching this live right now and you haven't subscribed and you really want to hear what Mr. Morris has to say, I suggest that you subscribe to the show so that you don't miss any of my reporting, because well, I report information that you can use. So NFT, guys, if somebody comes to you and asks you to invest in NFT or any sort of crypto platform, please be careful, okay? Ask questions, do research. My show is going to be a resource for you, and I'm not the only show on YouTube that actually provide information or help you stay away from this kind of Ponzi schemes. There are others. So I'm going to contact these people and try to see how we can work together just to make sure that you don't get scammed. Now, one of the things that I want to talk about before I end this session is that I listened to a lot of people who started out with Novatech. And people were saying, well, when we started, we were getting money every weekend, every Friday we were getting paid, an average of 3%, 4%, everything was good, we were getting paid. Now, there are a whole bunch of people, okay? A whole bunch of people. Now, I should tell you that my research suggests that by the time Novatech closed back in May of 2023, I think, there were 543,000 members. And all of these people have invested money. All of them are putting money in there. So 90% of them never withdraw anything. 90% of them never got any of their money back because they were encouraged to allow the interest to compound so that they can become millionaires faster. Okay? So now you can do the math. It's not that complicated. If you got 500,000 people at an average, let's say, of 10,000, even at 5,000, right? 10,000. That's well over $50 billion. Now, I know for a fact, based on some of the blockchain research that we've done, our investigators have done, that there was never any investment, that Novatech never invested one single penny anywhere. The money was coming in, they were using it to pay other people, hence the multi-level marketing. So I know that, but that money is sitting somewhere in an e-wallet account in some country in Eastern Europe. And the interesting thing is that everything that happens in the blockchain, it's in the blockchain. You can't undo things. If it happens, it's there. So I'm sure that there are opportunities for many of you, perhaps, to get some of your money back. But it's going to take a war. What do I mean by that? Cynthia Pitcher has a lot of money at her disposal, a lot of money. She could buy a lot of people, okay? But I think that the class has some very good lawyers, some very good law firm, and the FBI, the FTC, everybody's working, and they're going somewhere along the line, they're going to find Cynthia Pitcher and Eddie Pitcher. And hopefully by then, you will certainly have your money. Look at crypto program, the guy from the crypto program. I mean, they started way before Novatech, and it's been, I don't know what, 6 years now, and it's only now that he's getting arrested. The government's getting around to it, understanding exactly what these guys are doing and how they're robbing people, you know, how they're scamming people. So it would take some time. So I don't want you to be discouraged. I want you to understand that this is not going to move pretty fast. Certainly, or what could possibly happen if Cynthia Pitcher, if she came out of hiding and decided to do the right thing, decided to say, you know what, I have $50 billion at my disposal, I could pay everybody back and give people their money back. I highly doubt that she would do that because criminal psychopaths don't have a conscience. They don't have a conscience. They don't care who they kill, who they mean. They just don't give a shit. They don't have a conscience. So don't expect her to come around and offer the money. I mean, to me, that would have been the humane things to do. That would have been, the how do you say that? The moral thing to do. But she's not going to do that, okay? And she's not going to do it until she get arrested. And when she get arrested, she's going to want to try to make a deal. And I think certainly that's going to take time. So, again, I thank you for watching The Professor. This is your channel, guys. Thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate your support. When I started this channel a year and a half, almost 2 years ago, I started with MNEFX. I was investigating it, and there were a lot of people. Probably 90% of the people who invested in MNEFX were people of Haitian descent, just like myself. And I had friends of mine who had invested. I mean, of course, I told them not to, but what do I know? They wouldn't listen to me. They invested anyway, and they end up losing their money. But I have taken interest in that case because that case affected, to a greater percentage, probably a little bit more than Novatech, the Haitian community. So I started investigating, I started looking at things, and I knew the very first time I looked at the website of MNEFX, I knew it was a Ponzi scheme, and I told people, but they wouldn't listen. The same thing with Novatech, and a lot of people didn't know that the CEO of MNEFX, Eddie Alexander, actually came from Novatech. He used to work with Cynthia Pitcher. So you trace all of these people, all of these Ponzi schemers, they all worked together sometime in the past. And the funny thing is, what was interesting about MNEFX was that the church, the Adventist church, at least some of the pastors of the Adventist church, were deeply involved in it, which made it very, very successful because within a 9 months period, Eddie Alexander was able to collect $300 million. And I think that Eddie learned something from Cynthia, because Cynthia went out and told people that, oh, I'm a Reverend Cynthia, I'm a Reverend CEO, and people believe it. So, thank you so much for watching. I will see you tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern with attorney Will Morris.